As Delhi gasps for oxygen, BJP versus Aam Aadmi Party war on oxygen cylinders and supply is escalating. The BJP has now demanded criminal action against the Delhi government over its alleged failure in managing the oxygen crisis despite proper and timely alerts from the centre. Delhi BJP chief Adesh Gupta accused Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal of being negligent in handling the situation in the national capital. The BJP has claimed that the Narendra Modi government had also allocated funds from PM CARES to Delhi government to set up 8 oxygen plants and arrange for oxygen tankers, but effective action was not taken by the Delhi government. The BJP has also targeted Delhi Minister Imran Hussain after he was summoned by the Delhi High Court on charges of hoarding essential items including oxygen cylinders. BJP's IT cell chief Amit Malviya hit out at the Arvind Kejriwal government and tweeted a video of former Congress MP Sandeep Dikshit, where Sandeep Dikshit is heard calling for seeking murder charges against the Delhi Chief Minister and the Delhi government.
भी इंसान है, तकलीफ होती है, मगर ऑक्सीजन को लेकर राजनीति। भारत सरकार महाराष्ट्र को ऑक्सीजन दे सकती है, बाकी राज्यों को ऑक्सीजन दे सकती है। आपको क्यों ऐसा लगता है कि दिल्ली के प्रति भारत सरकार का रवैया अलग होता है? ये स्टेप मदरली ट्रीटमेंट करती है क्या ऐसा भारत सरकार? बिल्कुल नहीं। दिल्ली में केजरीवाल जी राजनीति करते हैं।
So it's not just the BJP, but the BJP using a Congress leader, Sandeep Dikshit, and firing off his shoulders, where Sandeep Dikshit, former MP, also son of late Sheila Dikshit, says that in his mother's tenure, in the Congress party tenure, multiple hospitals had been added in Delhi, but Delhi chose to vote the Congress out despite the Congress building many hospitals in Delhi. The same was not done when Arvind Kejriwal became Chief Minister, and he raised that question. How many hospitals have been set up by Arvind Kejriwal? How many beds were set up before this crisis started? And then the BJP has hit out at Imran Hussain, the Aam Aadmi Party minister, in the line of fire for allegedly hoarding oxygen cylinders. The deadly second wave of the pandemic continues to claim many more lives. The only way out, perhaps, is more vaccination and social distancing. Is that actually happening? The drive is facing many challenges, and this is because of shortage of vaccines, according to Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who's blamed the centre. We bring you this ground report.
Pandemic politics speaks. With the rise in cases, the blame game over the pandemic is gaining momentum as well, as the centre faces a dual attack from the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal. The Delhi CM has said that the state does not have enough doses to inoculate all its citizens under the universal vaccination drive, citing that his government wants to administer doses to all the people above 18 years of age over the next 3 months. While Deputy CM Manish Sisodia attacked the centre for exporting the jabs instead of vaccinating our citizens first.
मार्च से लेके और अब तक पूरे देश में, हमारे देश में 1 लाख मृत्यु हो चुकी है। 1 लाख लोग कोरोना का शिकार हो चुके हैं, और हम 6.5 करोड़ अपने देश की बनाई हुई वैक्सीन, जो इन लोगों को लग सकती थी, इनमें से कई लोगों की जान बच सकती थी, हम इस वैक्सीन को विदेशों में भेज रहे हैं। 93 देशों को हम एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। किस लिए? सिर्फ इसलिए कि केंद्र सरकार की इमेज बन सके।
Targeting centre, Didi also wrote a letter to PM Modi, seeking duty rebate on medical gear and COVID drugs. The Union Finance Minister was quick to react with a series of tweets. Nirmala Sitharaman said that there is no duty imposed on COVID drugs and medical equipment, and the removal of GST would only harm consumers in the long run since they have to bear the burden of high cost. While the blame game rages, are we the public bearing the brunt of it? Bureau Report, India Today.
A key accused in the alleged black marketing of oxygen concentrators in Delhi, Navneet Kalra, has been denied relief by the Delhi court. His anticipatory bail plea was adjourned for tomorrow. The court has also refused to put a stay on any coercive police action during this time. Now, during the hearing, Kalra's counsel alleged that the businessman was being unnecessarily hounded by authorities. Kalra's company, Matrix Cellular, also moved the Delhi High Court against the seizure of oxygen concentrators, saying that they were duly imported, regular proper channels and taxes were paid. This comes a day after the Delhi Police Crime Branch initiated investigations in the matter and launched a manhunt for Kalra, who faces charges not just of hoarding but also selling the oxygen concentrators on the black market. The Delhi police claim this was the biggest haul of oxygen concentrators when they raided upscale restaurants in South Delhi and New Delhi. Khan Chacha in the upmarket Khan Market was raided, Town Hall was raided, another restaurant was raided in Lodi Colony. Now, based on investigations, the police then raided a farmhouse in South Delhi, and in all 524 oxygen concentrators were recovered in these raids. The Delhi police also wanted, with of course court's permission, these oxygen concentrators then to be put to use at government hospitals. However, that matter is in court as of now. The lawyers for the accused have so far maintained that duty was paid, the oxygen concentrators were imported using proper channel, and only then were they being sold and money was being collected in bank accounts. So there is no black marketing that was involved. Taxes were being paid and all of this is above board. That is what Navneet Kalra and his lawyers have maintained. In a shocking incident, 23 COVID-positive patients have gone missing from Delhi's Bada Hindu Rao Hospital, and this happened between the 19th of April and the 7th of May. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has directed the Health Department to submit a report later today, saying that such incidents will sabotage Delhi's efforts to impose a total lockdown. And these people could be a threat not just to their own lives but also to others who they come in contact with. Now, their kin alleged that the hospital had no facilities and proper hygiene standards were not being maintained for patients. They then went on to say that relatives were being made to run from pillar to post to arrange for medicines, and even medical equipment like thermometers and oximeters were not present, and the relatives were being asked to make them available. The situation is such that a ward that is meant to accommodate 20 to 30 people is accommodating 40 to 50 COVID patients. Hospital authorities have reported the matter to the police and the case is under investigation. Now, in other issue which is a cause for grave concern, 80 doctors at Delhi's Saroj Hospital have tested positive. 12 have been hospitalized. 9 are in home quarantine. A senior surgeon at the hospital, Dr. A.K. Rawat, unfortunately passed away.
तेईस मरीज एक दिन के अंदर नहीं गए। जैसे कभी कोई मरीज आया और उसको लगा कि किसी और अस्पताल में जाना तो वो बगैर बताए चले गए, लेकिन जिम्मेदार हॉस्पिटल होने के नाते हमने उनको सबको रजिस्टर्ड किया और हमने बताया कि 23 लोग बगैर बताए हॉस्पिटल को जानकारी दिए दूसरे अस्पतालों में अपने घर चले गए। तो उसकी जानकारी हमें रखनी चाहिए और वो आगे बतानी चाहिए। तो हमने डीडीएमए को भी उसके लिए बताया, पुलिस को भी बताया। सब चिन्हित है, क्योंकि जब आदमी एडमिट होता है तो उसका एड्रेस तो आता ही है, उसका पूरा एड्रेस हमारे पास है, वो सब चिन्हित है। और उसमें से काफी लोगों की हमें जानकारी कि वो अन्य हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट है या घर पर होम क्वारंटाइन।
And let's take a look at the numbers when it comes to India's war against the coronavirus. Maharashtra continues to top the charts with 48,401 cases, followed by Karnataka with 47,930 cases. Kerala comes next with 35,801 cases reported in the past 24 hours, followed by Tamil Nadu with 28,897 cases. Uttar Pradesh is the fifth worst affected state with 23,175 cases. And amidst this monster COVID surge, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, they've now entered a 14-day complete lockdown starting today, which means there is no inter-district or intra-district travel, except, of course, for essential services and those in exempt category. Our bureaus bring you this report.
There are barricades that are placed across the city at important junctions. Police are over here. They're actually checking people who all come out, for what purpose they're coming out. After 10 o'clock, what we're told, in fact, the DGP, the DG and IGP very clearly stated on social media also that there should be absolutely no movement of vehicles outside after 10. And this is what the police will do over here. If you come out after 10, your vehicle will 100% be seized. You can come out for emergency purposes only. 2, hotels, eateries will be open, but only for takeaway. You will not be allowed to take your vehicle, either your bike or your car, to one of those places. You can walk maximum. You can use the delivery services to get all your stuff. Essential services, industries, they will be open. That is the maximum that the government has allowed. Now, what is happening is this. Karnataka is registering close to 50,000 cases on a daily basis. The deaths have also increased across the state, where we are very close to 500 on a daily basis. In order to control that and stop that and keep people safe, these are the measures that the government has brought in. So please, stay home and stay safe. With video journalist Madhuwar, Nolan Pinto for India Today.
Owing to the massive number of cases in the state of Tamil Nadu denoting a second wave, the state is undergoing a 2-week period lockdown starting from 10th May to 24th May. On March 30th, the number of cases reported was 2,300 plus. On 30th April, it went to 18,500 plus. And on 9th May, it has crossed 28,500 cases reported per day, and that's the reason this lockdown has been implemented. However, there is a bit of relaxation as well, and also restaurants and tea stalls can provide takeaway service. At the same time, metro is shut. Already in the state, large public gathering areas such as cinema theaters, halls have been completely closed. So these are the kind of restrictions that has been provided. Considering the importance of the situation, the state chief minister M.K. Stalin has gone ahead and he has appointed several ministers to provide. Special ministers have been appointed specifically to make sure that extreme concentration is provided in that area. And the state claims that within this 2-period lockdown period, they are trying to make sure that the numbers are brought down. With video journalist Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
Hemanta Biswa Sarma was sworn in as the 15th Chief Minister of Assam in the presence of the Governor Jagdish Mukhi, BJP President JP Nadda, former Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal and top leaders of the party. The oath-taking ceremony was held at the Srimant Sankardev in Guwahati. This after Sarma was unanimously elected as the leader of the BJP legislature party in the state on Sunday, paving the way for him to take over as Chief Minister. Now, Hemanta Biswa Sarma visited the Kamakhya Devi temple and several other temples before the swearing-in ceremony.
Moi, Sri Himanta Biswa Sarmai, ঈশ্বৰৰ নামত শপত খাই কওঁ যে বিধিৰ দ্বাৰা স্থাপিত ভাৰতৰ সংবিধানৰ প্ৰতি মই প্ৰকৃত বিশ্বাস আৰু শ্ৰী হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মাই ঈশ্বৰৰ নামত শপত খাই কওঁ যে অসম ৰাজ্যৰ মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী স্বৰূপে মোৰ কৰ্তব্যৰ যথাযথ সম্পাদনত আৱশ্যক হোৱাৰ বাহিৰে
The Chief Minister's post is a crown he earned after crossing many a milestone in a long political career. His political career began showing an uptick when the BJP made him the convener of the Northeast Democratic Alliance. He grabbed that opportunity to turn BJP's fate in the Northeast, a region that had always remained elusive to the Bharatiya Janata Party. His rise is special because the BJP rarely elevates a non-BJP RSS cadre man to a high post. This isn't his sole feat. For the BJP, he has pulled off many victories with his political deftness. Due to his proactive measures as the health minister in Sarbananda Sonowal government in time of COVID pandemic, he managed to change the impression of the people towards the BJP government, the popularity of which was eroded following the CAA movement. Except for home, Sarma handled almost all the key portfolios including finance, PWD, health and education in the Sarbananda Sonowal-led BJP government. With his able administrator and political manager image, he has convinced the BJP that he brings a better winnability factor compared to Sarbananda Sonowal, BJP's poster boy in 2016. He managed this in just 6 years after dumping the Congress. His oath ceremony as Chief Minister is a signal to his ex-party bosses who ignored his significance and potential.
Rahul gave me audience. I made him 8-9 times. But problem is that when you talk to Rahul, the discussion was so light that even the dogs come in between. He start plays with the dog, not with the human, when you talk with him.
All this experience will come in handy for Himanta Sarma as he has taken charge at a time when state is battling a resurgent virus and anxiety over NRC and CAA. Bureau Report, India Today.
And coming up on